Welcome back to the college football week 7 betting locks and predictions. And we're coming off a massive week 1, 4 units last week. So let's get into the recap of what was a wild week of college football. So we started predicting South Carolina to beat Ole Miss, and this was one of the rare home team unranked versus ranked non-upsets here. But South Carolina can't get it done. No betting lock on that one, so no blood there. Then we had Nebraska -6 in the hook against Rutgers, and the importance of getting the number here was huge. Nebraska ends up winning by 7, and so we win the betting lock there, and Nebraska gets the win. Ohio State, we had beating Iowa, and they get an impressive showing there. Iowa only puts up 7 there. And then the game I was contemplating picking Vanderbilt outright, we get the 24 in the hook to easily cover there against Bama. Vanderbilt wins outright. An absolutely insane game. They end up bringing the goalposts into the river there. Massive game for Vandy. We did also have a unit on the under 54, so that did not hit, even though most of the thesis actually came out correct. Vandy had the ball for a long time, bled down the clock, but some of those turnovers and extra scores, Bama was actually able to score more than I thought. I thought they'd be running the ball more, but since they were on their back foot, they had to throw, and they were very efficient on offense, maybe too efficient to their own detriment there. But Vandy plus 24 in the hook easily cashes as they win outright. Oregon State -13 in the hook does not cover. They ended up winning in double overtime by 8, but no cover there. Colorado State had some fight in them on the road there. Then again, importance of the number here. Florida State loses by 16, so we cover the 16 in the hook, taking a lot of candy at home. Thought Florida State would have, maybe a little more fight than they did, but luckily we get the best of the number there and win that one. And then Florida absolutely demolishes UCF at home there. UCF has kind of fallen off the wagon these last couple weeks with the loss against Colorado and then this one. So we'll see what happens there. Also called for the outright upset by Cal. They end up getting jobbed by the ACC Replay Center, helping Miami once again in a clear targeting call that probably would have run down most of the clock and made it impossible for Miami to score, although the Cal defense was getting carved up. We actually took a live bet here, so that's why it's plus 14. And this is just your reminder to check the Discord throughout the week. I'll have the link on the top right there. But we gave out a lot of extra plays from the initial video during the week, and a lot of them hit this week. So that's the importance of following the Discord so we can get the best numbers, as the numbers really move around a lot during these weeks. And Arizona also comes up empty at home against Texas Tech. Texas Tech getting a bit lucky here, but Arizona not able to put that one away right there. Then on the earlier slates, we had UNLV against Syracuse. They end up losing in double overtime there. Tough call with the refs getting involved in that one. And then Missouri with the head scratcher of the week against Texas A&M. Texas A&M proves that they are a good team, I suppose. What a game. This is the head scratcher of the week. And Missouri, we knew they were a bit fraudulent. I picked Texas A&M to win, but I didn't imagine this scenario in any of my simulations of this game in my head. Then we had SMU beating Louisville outright, and this was a terrible lock. Louisville unable to get away with it. It was a close game, but Louisville ends up losing there. Great start for SMU, moving up to 5-1 after that loss to BYU, but now they've got strung together a couple consecutive ones against FSU and Louisville there. UNC unable to keep it within 3 against a Pittsburgh team that has really cooked us this season. I think they're a little bit fraudulent, but man, they just keep taking advantage of these one-possession games. They end up beating UNC there by more than the 3. Wake Forest against NC State in a despicable game, but they do end up covering for us. And then a lot of you guys criticized me picking Washington here, but they end up winning pretty easily, in all honesty, despite Jack Tuttle coming in and providing a little spark for Michigan there. Then I also called the Arkansas upset outright. How about that? Great win for the Hogs, and now they have a bye week, so they can kind of chill out before, what would probably be a massive letdown spot if they were to play this week. Boston College at Virginia, we take the money line and hit there. ECU, horrible lock there, and they get demolished by Charlotte. We had them -8, so that was by far the worst lock of the week. And then Indiana, we had them -12 in the hook, and they just get it done against Northwestern there. So once again, plus 4 units. Be sure to subscribe to the channel, turn on post notifications so you guys can get the best numbers as soon as these videos come out, because they do tend to move. And once again, take a look at the Discord there. So now let's move into this week's action. We've got a Friday night game, Utah at Arizona State, and this should be a good one. Cam Rising, no idea if he's going to play. This spread has gone down to Utah -3 in the hook there. And I'm going to take Utah to win, whether or not Cam Rising is in. Arizona State getting mighty lucky over these past few weeks. Narrow win at Texas State, now a brutal one against Kansas. And they end up being on the positive end of a lot of that. Kansas is running horribly this season, but I like Utah to win that one there, even if they might be a little overrated with out Cam Rising there. Washington at Iowa, and Washington, not the best travel team, and the field goals that they cannot hit is really spooky for them. If they can tighten it up, I think that they have a chance of winning this game, but I like Iowa to bounce back after that Ohio State loss. Washington coming off perhaps a hangover this week after beating a formerly top 10 Michigan team. Texas, Oklahoma, Red River shootout here, and I'm going to take Texas. The spread is a little too long. For some of the longtime viewers, you might remember me calling the Oklahoma upset outright, but that spread was only about 7 in the hook. This one's gotten up to 14. That might be a little long, but I like Texas to win that game. Then first betting lock of the week, USC plus 5 in a hook, but I would wait on this one. I think it could extend to maybe 6, 6.5 as you see that Penn State number 4 rating. I think USC wins this one outright. We've got our first 2-unit play of the year, and you guys might be scratching your head saying USC looked horrible against Minnesota. Penn State plays similar and are just a better team, but I think this could be a little bit of a sleepy start for Penn State. USC has been much better in the second half this season, although it did kind of choke down the stretch in that Minnesota game. If they can get out to a hot start at home, they haven't really played any true contenders at home yet. I think they can win this game outright. They've been, as Lincoln Riley said, one play away in both of those games. I think Miller Moss, these receivers can keep them in the game and eventually win it for the Trojans there. Then we've got Louisville at Virginia, 7-point spread here. I like the Cardinals to win that one on the road there. I think they've gotten a little unlucky this season with those 2 consecutive losses. I think they're ready for a bounce back here. And then I like Cal to bounce back against Pittsburgh and win outright again. Pittsburgh, I think, is a little fraudulent this year. Could be looking at a betting lock if this one gets, north of 8, 9, 10 points. So we'll see on that. But I like Cal to beat what I think is a little overrated Pittsburgh team and maybe a little underrated Cal team, as they just played Miami to the wire. Probably should have won that game, in all honesty. I think they will be hungry for this victory here. Vandy at Kentucky, I think it's just a massive hangover spot for Vandy, and 12-point spread as it is. I think Kentucky's been a lot better, but potential hangover for them. They did have the bye week, but just coming off the win over Ole Miss, this one should be an interesting game, at least at first. This Vandy offense never struggles to entertain, so that should be a good game there. And then we've got Iowa State at West Virginia. A little bit of a tricky spot. West Virginia hasn't looked the best this season, but I think Rocco Becht and Iowa State are able to roll here in what could be a closer game than many are expecting. I could see West Virginia leading or at least tying the game in the fourth quarter there. Always tough to play in Morgantown, even though Penn State made it look pretty easy this season. Then we've got Florida at Tennessee. This spread has gotten north of 16 points despite the loss from Tennessee. Florida's starting to look better. I think this one could be a closer game than a lot of people think. We'll see if Tennessee can finally turn the gas on and really blow out a team. That will be one to keep an eye on there. We've got Ohio State at Oregon. We're going to take Oregon plus 4 in the hook here. Anything north of 3 is great. I think Oregon wins this game outright. Besides the sloppy start from Oregon against the Idaho teams, which, Boise State might be a better team than a lot of people expect. Oregon's looked a lot better in the past few weeks. Remember, this game was dealing Ohio State, maybe even Oregon -1 over times during this summer. One of the games of the year for sure. I think Autzen will provide ample home field here, and I like Oregon to win it outright. We're taking a betting lock there. Then our second 2-unit of the week, second 2-unit of the year. LSU plus 3.5 against Ole Miss. I don't think LSU is the best team in the world. I think they are correctly rated, but this is all situational here. Ole Miss coming off a massive road win at South Carolina. Got a lot to go their way in that one, but it was a blowout. They're feeling good, but just a key letdown spot here at LSU at night there, and Ole Miss playing in their 6th straight game, whereas LSU just had the bye. I like LSU to win that one outright, but they end up losing by a field goal. We cover there as well. Arizona at BYU. I think it's time for BYU to perish here, and I think Arizona will get it done. The problem is BYU has quite the home field, so I could see that helping them. But Arizona has already ventured into Utah one time in a tough environment and won this year. I think they do it again here off the bounce back there. Then Minnesota at UCLA. We're waiting for this line to extend again if you can get UCLA plus 6. Don't hate it at the current 5.5 number, but UCLA plus 6 or better. We like it. And I think that Minnesota loses outright. This UCLA team played close to LSU. Have gotten beat up by some of the better teams in the Big Ten. Already played Indiana, Oregon, LSU, as I mentioned. Didn't look great at Hawaii, but I think this UCLA team is ready to show something. And it's a classic letdown spot for Minnesota after taking down top 11 USC last week. And now they have to travel all the way across for a late game, body clock game at UCLA. I like UCLA to win that one outright, but we'll take the points with them as well. Kansas State, I think they get it done at Colorado. I don't really know what to think of Colorado right now. They've looked a lot better these past few weeks. They are always dumb with the time management. If they have the game in control, say they're up 7 and they're just throwing the ball, I could see that being a way they could lose, but I think Kansas State is some of the best quality you're going to get in the Big 12. We'll see if Colorado is ready to match it, as they have looked significantly better in the past few games. Thank you for watching. Please be sure to like and subscribe and comment your predictions below.